You shipped the physical sample on Tuesday. The specifications match the requirement, the pricing works, and the delivery hit the lab bench right on schedule. 3 weeks later, you get a polite email from your procurement contact stating they went a different direction. Your product passed every benchmark. The failure occurred when the lab technician evaluating the sample had a minor solubility question. He flagged it internally, marked the sample pending, and waited for your team to ask. Nobody did. Your primary procurement contact manages 93 unread emails, a pulled forward product launch, and a massive documentation backlog. She lacks the bandwidth to chase down technical answers. And because your sales representative only mapped her name in the system, they had zero visibility into the actual bottleneck. Competitors do not win these deals by providing a superior botanical ingredient. They win by answering technical questions in rooms you failed to map. Revenue teams often respond to this lack of visibility by pointing to operational scars. Failed data enrichment projects and high software costs train RevOps professionals to protect their databases. They deliberately restrict their CRM contact lists, adding new names with extreme reluctance. Prioritizing data cleanliness by artificially limiting contact volume actively manufactures pipeline risk. This diagram shows a direct comparison. A lab missing testing instruments operates with critical exposure. If an evaluator requires a mass spectrometer and lacks one, the validation fails. In the exact same way, logging a single contact for a complex transaction creates a localized failure point. Elite revenue teams build architecturally complete databases. They map the entire buying system, securing visibility to everyone evaluating the deal, from the first call to the final purchase order. Phase 1 is the committee audit. Accurately tracking influence requires a comprehensive roster of every evaluating role. This network map shows a botanical ingredient purchase. It expands from procurement to the formulator, lab tech, QA, marketing, and executive buyer. Closed-won deals surface a dense web of these connections. Closed-loss deals display isolated nodes with severe coverage gaps. Document which specific roles consistently failed to appear. Those missing nodes represent the stakeholders who evaluated your product without your input. Relying heavily on a single internal champion builds a relationship-dependent pipeline. When that champion leaves or a new procurement lead takes over, the deal collapses without structural support. The goal of this audit is not to locate a single ultimate decision maker. The goal is exposing evaluators who hold the power to quietly kill your deal without ever joining a sales call. Phase 2 is role governance. A raw list of contacts without precise definitions provides zero intelligence to your pipeline. Role governance requires that specific tags in your CRM dictate exact expectations for deal velocity and risk. Associating a CFO in Stage 4 signals an imminent budget conversation, regardless of the sales rep's plan. This requires building a locked, strictly defined pick list for buying roles directly in the CRM. Free text fields invite inconsistent data entry. Role values must carry the exact same meaning for every software user. You apply this during natural handoffs. Shipping a physical sample provides an operational reason to expand your committee map. Asking the procurement contact who in the lab will be looking at this secures a name, assigns a technical role, and establishes direct communication with the evaluator before the package hits the bench. Strict categorization forces the CRM to signal exactly what a person's involvement means for the survival of the transaction. Phase 3 is stage-gated capture. You must force the committee map to fill in sequentially as the deal progresses, rather than discovering your blind spots during a post-mortem review. Pushing a deal into the proposal phase without identifying the technical and economic evaluators introduces unmitigated structural risk. This pipeline graphic demonstrates how you enforce compliance with hard validation rules. If a representative attempts to move a deal to the proposal phase without an economic buyer attached, the system physically blocks the progression. An opportunity sitting there with only one associated contact provides an entirely useless forecast. The deal has zero foundation if that single procurement contact misses an email. This forces a crucial distinction in your data. Logging 70 phone calls produces activity data. Confirming that the QA lead and lab technician have actively reviewed the specifications produces committee data. Train your sales team to utilize routine procedural steps, like document requests, routine label reviews, and QA sign-offs, as mandated triggers to capture the name and role of the next person in the approval chain. Stage-gating contact capture forces structural risks to surface early enough for your revenue team to resolve them. Phase 4 is activating the architecture. This map transitions from a sales tool to an organizational intelligence layer. In diffusion of innovation theory, an early adopter's evaluation propagates through a system long before the broader group realizes a decision is happening. They shape the final outcome through technical credibility before formal authority engages. This hierarchy tree illustrates that mechanic. The laboratory technician operates as the early adopter, sending an invisible signal upstream that influences procurement and executives. With the committee mapped, marketing delivers targeted efficacy data, trend reports, and compliance documentation to the correct roles. Post-close, customer success inherits this exact architecture, executing efficient expansion plays during renewal cycles, because the true evaluators are already active in the database. Revenue operations stops grading pipeline health on raw call volume and begins scoring opportunities strictly on committee completeness. Achieving strict data governance elevates your go-to-market organization into a higher tier of competitive readiness, compounding value across every single department. Let's return to the lost deal from the beginning. The overwhelmed procurement contact holds no blame for the failure. Neither does the lab technician who shelved the sample. The operational failure falls entirely on the lack of internal CRM architecture. No one designed the process that mandated a second door into the account. The buying committee always existed, operating quietly in the background of your deals. You simply chose to leave it unmapped. Map the complete committee. Govern roles with rigid CRM definitions. Gate stages to mandate intelligence capture. Pull one active deal in your pipeline today. Map every single buying role that should be present at its current stage, count how many you actually have associated, and calculate your true coverage score to expose your real risk. You are not losing deals to superior products. You are losing to competitors who mapped the entire room. I'm Daniel, the Intel operator. See you next time.